start Chicago Cubs with a little richer flavor. From today all the way to the World Series, Fox Saturday Baseball is ready to rock.
Nothing like opening day, right, Psycho?
I wouldn't know.
Hey, you made our team this year, third year in a row. Welcome to opening day of Fox Saturday Baseball's Game of the Week. We are real proud to play a part in this very exciting and special 98 campaign, and we'll be here all the way to October when a new World Series champion is crowned right here on Fox. Hello again, everybody. I'm Chip Carey, joined by a man of many talents, many shows, and many dollars, the always bitter Steve Psycho Lyons. And my friend, what a great start to this season. David Wells, a perfect game, two new teams, Kerry Wood, Mark McGwire, a huge trade last week, and maybe another to come in the next 24 to 48 hours.
It has been a tremendous start, and if you've missed it, you've missed a lot. And right now, we're talking about some trade rumors swirling around Randy Johnson again. The Dodgers are one of the teams that are interested in him. I think it makes sense. You send Nomo up to Seattle, where there's a great Asian population. You put Johnson in the starting rotation for the Dodgers. They haven't had a starting lefty since '92, back when they used like three-finger gloves and stuff.
I'm in favor because I know you couldn't hit the big unit either, and that would be a great trade indeed for the Dodgers. The other big story, of course, this is the season of the mighty Mac Watch. Will he break the record of 61 homers in 61, or will he not? McGwire, this year's hottest water cooler topic, and considering he's on pace for only 80 homers and 200 RBIs, the question is, when will Big Mac do it, and did he hit a homer last night? Well, friends, the answer to that second question is a resounding,
oh, yeah, he did.
Yes, he did. In San Diego, the Redbirds playing the Padres, and McGwire belts that ball deep out of the yard and left. St. Louis scored all of their runs in the 8th and 9th innings. They rout the Padres by a score of 8-3. McGwire had another big hit in that ball game, as well as he has been absolutely awesome. McGwire now the standard in the big leagues, 26 home runs before June 1st, and there's still 2 more days in the merry month of May for Big Mac. Now, what does McGwire think of all this hoopla surrounding him? As he tells our own Joe Buck, McGwire is just as amazed about his torrid home run pace as we all are.
He is amazing, dazzling, remarkable, unbelievable, unique.
Are you having fun? Are you able to enjoy this at all? I have. There's been some times where I've been uneasy a little bit, but then I sit back and say, you know what? I have to enjoy this. I don't know if this is ever going to happen again.
Everybody talks about batting practice. I see you after you take your round, almost kind of duck down out of the way. It embarrasses you a little bit what you're able to do with a baseball, doesn't it?
It's not what I can do with a baseball. It embarrasses me that they single me out. I mean, I really appreciate it, but sometimes it's overwhelming.
Do you understand and get the feeling that players on the other side, in a weird way, are kind of rooting for you? Because they are. We talked to Mark Grace the other day. He said, if he breaks it in Chicago, I want him to, because I want him to round first base. I'm going to hop on his back, and he can carry me around, because I want to be a part of that. Do you realize that?
So I've seen comments from players, and that's the utmost thing that a player can ever expect, is when your peers make great statements. But I have to be realistic. We're only here in May, and people are talking about things being broken, and it sort of boggles my mind.
Speaking of things being broken, that scoreboard, that little billboard out in center field, come on. Nobody hits a ball up there.
Well, I have to say that was probably the best ball I've ever hit in my life.
You hit one into Big Mac land the other day. You gave 47,000 plus a free Big Mac. Are you a Big Mac guy?
I've never had a Big Mac ever in my whole life. Not that I don't like hamburgers. It's just, I just don't like all that stuff on it.
You don't like all the stuff. I see you smiling, though, and I know that despite the frustration with people like me and media types who ask the same, that's got to drive you nuts.
I know as a person, if you keep seeing and hearing the same story over and over on the same person, I mean, people get tired of it. I think I'm being pretty cordial with it. You know, I'm realistic about it. I understand what I have to do, the responsibility I have as a Major League ball player. But I just hope that some days when I don't feel like talking, I don't get ripped on, because, you know, I am not the team spokesperson.
What do you think the people in the stadium would do if you dropped down a bunt?
He'd probably walk out of the stadium.
Hey, Mark, there goes that endorsement deal with the good folks over at McDonald's. And the only people not talking about his chase happily are the National League pitchers.
That's right, yeah, like he needs the extra money. This guy will break the record as long as he stays healthy. Half of his hits right now have gone out of the ballpark. And get this, the guy's only grounded out 19 times all year. 225 plate appearances. That's amazing. He hits the ball in the air all the time.
That would have been a good week for you. And how about a good week for Joe Buck? 1 minute he's with the season's biggest story in St. Louis. Then he's in New York, ready to cover another big baseball story. The Yankees' Hideki Irabu. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver. What's new in New York?
Thank you, Chip. They're lined up here at Yankee Stadium to renew this bitter rivalry. Last night, the Yankees defeating the Red Sox for the 1,000th time in the history of this great feud. Welcome to the broadcast booth, Joe Buck, along with my partner, Tim McCarver, as we get ready for our opening day and looking forward to watching Hideki Irabu pitch for the Yankees this afternoon. What a difference an offseason makes as you look at the numbers, a 1.13 ERA. We asked Joe Torre the difference between Hideki now and a year ago.
I think the fact that he did have last year in the memory bank and the fact that he didn't like it and not knowing what to expect, and I think that the half a year he spent here going into minor leagues, coming back, was a little, cold towel on the face, realizing what the major leagues are all about.
Think about the hurdles for Irabu last year. Different culture, different language in New York City. That was last year. This year, he got game.
Thanks, Spike. A packed house here at Yankee Stadium. Let's go back to Hollywood. Chip and Steve, it's all yours.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Hideki Irabu, Steve, becoming the most popular import in New York since Honda.
Well, he's easier to have game when you're pitching for a team as good as the Yankees. Winning is contagious. He's a stronger pitcher this year because he had spring training to deal with. But I can guarantee you, he's the same guy. If things start going bad for him, we will see that Hideki Irabu temper come back.
Well, we'll see if that is the case. So far, he has been on his best behavior. But here it is, week 1 of Fox Saturday Baseball's Game of the Week. The question for you, my friend, as we turn to psychoanalysis, are you on your best behavior?
Well, even though it's our opening day, if we live like you do under a rock, then we've missed the greatest part of one of the best seasons ever. You're missing a lot.
Horses started getting warm. The tiny ship was... Oh, well, I know most of you have been cleaning up from El Nino and disasters like that most of this spring.
Or if you've been replanting those petunias out in your front yard, you've missed one of the best starts in baseball history. Get with it. All right, let's just start right off with the biggest story in baseball. Mark McGwire of the St. Louis Cardinals. He's the first guy in the history of the game ever to hit 25 home runs before June 1st. Let me go out on a limb here for you, all right? 61, gone. He's in the best shape of his life, and he's getting his days off. Watch him hit. The guy never hits the ball on the ground. Every ball up in the air. And when he hits the ball in the air, there's not a field in the league that can hold this guy. My name is Kerry Wood. I'm just 20 years old and pitching in the big leagues. I'm not even legal yet. But I got a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, a filthy slider, and a curveball like you read about. And right now, I got 19 strikeouts working on 20. So what's it gonna be?
Here comes the hook.
Hey, time out, man. I need a nickname. Where's the Marlins? The future of baseball in South Florida. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Where's Florida? Where's the Marlins at? Get out of the way. What about Wayne Huizenga, the owner of the Florida Marlins? I mean, this guy made his fortune in waste management before he bought the team. So he brings one world championship to South Florida, and now where are they? Found them! Hey, in here, they're in here, right in here. Here in New York, the Yankees are on fire. And why not? They got a great team. They're off to the best start of any team in 14 years. They've got it all this year. Pitching, all the way from Boomer to Boo-Boo Irabu. And they have power and speed. They may steal more bases than they hit home runs. Forget about it. Who's going to catch them? And while the Yankees have been grabbing most of the headlines, the Mets made a move of their own. They jumped up and traded for the pizza man, Mike Piazza. You know what? I hope they have something else up their sleeve, too, because I don't think that's enough. I think I'll grab a slice. Hey, right now, the Yankees and Braves look unbeatable, but don't worry. Other teams are making their moves to get better. Sheffield's been traded already. Piazza, you're talking about Randy Johnson, and maybe even Todd Hundley being moved. So other teams out there, they still have a chance.
Bit of advice, pal. Lay off the pizza. You need to work out a little more. Friends, speaking of working out, tomorrow in Hockeytown, USA, it's Game 4 between the Dallas Stars and the defending champs, the Detroit Red Wings, who lead the series 2-1. NHL hockey tomorrow at 2, right here on Fox. All right, friends, now time to head out to Yankee Stadium. And here's a very special person to take us there.
What better way to kick off our third season of Major League Baseball coverage on Fox than with Take Me Out to the Ball Game? With thoughts of Harry Carey, we get ready for baseball here at the stadium, the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. With bunting it all adorning our broadcast booth, we get ready for our opening day. And welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck, along with my partner, Tim McCarver. We brought out the entire bag of tricks for you. Microphones on managers, catcher cam, mics and bases. And we'll have the game of the week for you every Saturday throughout the regular season, through the postseason, including the World Series this year here on Fox. And Tim McCarver, while Yankee fans might tell you, get your rooms now for October here in New York, I don't think we'll go that far, but there's no doubt this Yankee team is rolling right now.
Even Boston manager Jimmy Williams says that the Yankees are not only hot, they're in fuego, on fire, and they're on fire in every department you can think of. Their starting pitching and their bullpen, for instance, on the mound. The best ERA in the American League, tied for first in shutouts. 44, the fewest homers, are tied for first. And who backs up good pitching? Good hitting. And in the hitting department, first in batting average, first in walks, stolen bases. Joe, I don't think you can call them the Bronx Bombers anymore. They're almost the Bronx do-everything.
Yeah, and while everybody came in when Joe Torre took over in '96 saying they were going to play like a National League team, they're even more like a National League team here in 1998. Good pitching matchup. Hideki, Irabu, Brett Saberhagen. One note about the Red Sox. Without Nomar Garciaparra, a late scratch. He's bothered by that ailing right shoulder, will not be in the starting lineup today. Irabu, Saberhagen, Red Sox, and Yankees couldn't get any better on our opening day. The first pitch coming up after this from your local Fox station.
1998, a season of champions, only on Fox Sports.
If you've been putting off getting a home security system, consider the following. Every 18 seconds, another American home is burglarized. And worst of all, many families are at home when it happens. Don't wait until this happens to you. Call ADT now to learn how you can help protect your family with America's #1 home security system. With an ADT security system, you're linked to a state-of-the-art monitoring center where trained professionals can watch over your home and family 24 hours a day.
Yes, this is Maria with ADT.
Can you put a price on your family's safety? Of course you can't. But you can have an ADT system installed in your home for as little as $99. Remember, every 18 seconds another home is burglarized. Don't wait. Call ADT now to get a system installed in your home and help protect the people and things you love the most. Call ADT today.
That's what we're here for.
ADT, we bring real security home.
Homeowners, stop struggling the old way and start saving yourself hours of time and back-breaking labor. Troy-Bilt introduces the new Troy-Bilt trimmer mower. The faster, easier, better way to trim, mow, and clear your property. Call now to learn what the Troy-Bilt trimmer mower can do for you. Trim with more control, mow rough areas easily, plus clear problem spots like never before.
You may have seen a similar product advertised recently.
It's not from Troy-Bilt. Compare the quality, features, and warranties. You'll learn why only the best built say Troy-Bilt.
Call now and discover the faster, easier, better way to trim and mow with the Troy-Bilt trimmer mower.
For more details, plus information on our limited time, no interest, no payment finance offer, call 1-800-260-1155. Troy-Bilt, always the best built, now the best buy.
Boss. With the sun shining down on Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, it is a gorgeous day for baseball. The Yankees take the field, led there by their starter. His teammates call him Boo Boo. Last
Last year, all the Yankees fans did to this guy was boo him. Now he's on top of the world. We'll take a look at the MCI starting lineup for the Boston Red Sox. They lead it off with Darren Lewis in center. Reggie Jefferson, all he does in the big leagues is hit. John Valentin hitting third. Remember, Nomar Garciaparra, a late scratch. Mo Vaughn cleaning up at first base. Troy O'Leary in left field with Scott Hatterberg, the catcher. Mike Benjamin at short. Darren Bragg in right field. And Lou Merlone is at second base, batting ninth. To look at the defense for the Yankees, a very good defense, about middle of pack in team fielding percentage, and one of the best second basemen in the business. AL best all-time at second base at the moment. The fielding percentage for Chuck Knobloch, lifetime .986. And there he is, Boo-Boo, Hideki Irabu, 1.13. Tim McCarver, you kidding me?
And the Yankees are hoping that a boo-boo does not occur to Boo-Boo, because they could ill afford to lose Hideki Irabu. I don't think Yankee fans thought that they would be hearing comments like that in late May last year. Let's take a look at the scouting report on Irabu. A 1.13 ERA. He's developed presence and command, and I think that's the most important thing, that right there, because that's the checkup from the neck up that he needed. A deadly hard splitter, primarily when he's ahead in the count. A fastball. As a matter of fact, Joe Torre saying that he worked almost exclusively with a fastball his last time out. He pitched a complete game shutout against the Chicago White Sox. And that slow curve that you will see frequently this afternoon.
Joe Torre very happy to run Irabu out there. Even last year, Tim, when we saw Hideki Irabu pitch, even his body language was bad. He looked lethargic. He looked like he was intimidated a little bit. And heck, he had a bad body on top of the body language. Now he's in better shape and working very well with that 1.13 ERA. Darren Lewis will lead it off. He got a quick shot of Jimmy Williams. His Red Sox got out of the box quick. Zoomed to a record of 22-11. They lost Garciaparra for a 15-day stretch on the disabled list, and they were under 500 during that stretch. Here's a strike to Darren Lewis, and we're underway on a Saturday afternoon. Remember, this broadcast is also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. 0-1 to Lewis leading off. The bunt to the right side, checking on his conditioning. No problem, 1 out.
It's also checking on the fact that Irabu, one of his problems last year, fielding his position. As a matter of fact, I asked Jimmy Williams before the game, do you think you're going to bunt against Irabu today? He said, yes, we're going to test him out. Well, that test, Irabu won it.
So 1 away, Lewis is gone. The put out 1-3, and now to the number 2 hitter, Reggie Jefferson. So there you go. You talk to Jimmy, you put the bunt in his mind, and Darren Lewis comes out. Second pitch of the day, he drops it down, didn't work. Reggie Jefferson hitting .312. Home plate umpire this afternoon is Ted Barrett. First base, Jim Joyce, Al Clark at second, and John Hirschbeck, after working the plate here last night on a rainy night in New York, is over at third. Nothing but strikes for Hideki Irabu so far. There's another strike 2 on a blistering fastball.
One thing you can check out at home today is the radar gun readings on Irabu with nobody on as opposed to guys in scoring position.
Jefferson just got a piece, and you can check out the velocity of the pitches up in our Fox box, top left-hand corner of your screen. It'll register up there, and I thought it was interesting what Joe Torre told you about those velocities.
Yesterday afternoon, Joe Torre saying that Irabu is right around the low 90s with nobody on base. Putting in on base, particularly in scoring position, and he can throw up around 96 to 98 miles an hour. So while the radar gun is not the sole measuring device of a pitcher's effectiveness, we'll watch Irabu this afternoon.
A ball and 2 strikes on Reggie Jefferson. 1 out, nobody on. That's up and away, 2-2. But let's be honest about Irabu. He came over here with reports of being a guy who could throw 97, 98, 99, sometimes hit 100. That is not the case. He will top out in the mid-90s. Still, he's got a great arm. That's down the right field line, hooking foul. Still 2-2. Joe Torre, what a start for his New York Yankees. A record of 37-11, by far the best in the big leagues, and this start for the Yankees ties for the 5th best in the history of the American League. And you start talking about this Yankee team and comparing this team to some of the great teams in the history of the American League. That's foul the other way, 2-2. Take a look at it graphically. The 1928 New York Yankees had the best record at 39-9, tied by the 46 Red Sox. The 84 Tigers at 38-10. See the Yankees at 37-11.
The 46 Red Sox, the only team that did not win the World Series out of those 5.
2-2 to Jefferson. Just got a piece again. Lewis out trying to bunt his way on. Reggie Jefferson trying to work his way on against Irabu. Battling here after falling behind 0-2. Jimmy Williams has got to be concerned as he sits in that dugout wondering about the next couple of weeks and maybe the rest of the season for Nomar Garciaparra. Such a big part of this Red Sox team. See you later. Outside corner, 2 up, 2 down.
Tough at bat by Reggie Jefferson. He fouled off some tough pitches, but takes this one right at the knees. When a pitcher has that look about him that Irabu had after that pitch, you can see him look off toward first base. A lot of confidence these Yankees are playing with right now.
Breaking ball didn't break much. Up and into Valentin, who was moved up to that number 3 spot. Garciaparra came back from the injury. He had been hitting third. Now they've got Valentin there. To the left side, easy for Brosius. He's been great this year. Easy 2 hopper, inning over in a 1-2-3 inning for Hideki Irabu, coming off his first complete game shutout. They're the top 3 coming up for the Yankees in the bottom of the first.
I talk to my mom every Sunday. Nothing big, just to stay close. Tell her what the kids are up to. And that's why I signed up for MCI 5-cent Sundays. Just 5 cents a minute, so we can talk for half an hour for just $1.50. That same call is $4.60 with AT&T's One Rate. We save more with MCI. And best of all, hi, Grandma. We all get to talk more.
Call 1-800-Sundays to become an MCI customer.
Do you like legs? Well, here's an attractive set. All-you-can-eat snow crab legs at Red Lobster for only $13.99. Bottomless buckets of meaty, succulent snow crab legs. All you can eat at a price you can't resist. So shake a leg. And hurry in for all-you-can-eat snow crab legs at Red Lobster, because life on land is dry.
Tune-up. These AC Delco parts are about the most dependable you can buy. They should really help improve your performance.
Come on, they're all the same. I'll take them out of this bushel basket.
Okay.
AC Delco. No matter what you drive, if you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
He's 5-3. His name is Brett Saberhagen, and he will take on this Yankee lineup brought to you by MCI. They lead it off with Chuck Knobloch at second, Derek Jeter batting second at short. He's been Joe Torre's MVP the first part of the year, with O'Neill hitting third, Tino Martinez at first, Bernie Williams. He's come on with the power of late. Then the DH is Darryl Strawberry, leading this club with 8 home runs. Chad Curtis is in left, Jorge Posada catching, and Scott Brosius. How good are you going? Your number 9 hitters hitting 346. The Red Sox defense, they line it up with a very good one in center field. Darren Lewis, who had 392 consecutive errorless games while with the Giants playing at tough Candlestick Park. He patrols center at Fenway and obviously on the road. And here's the right-hander Brett Saberhagen, 5-3.
He won his first 5 games this year. He has lost his last 3. However, in those 3 losses, he's given up 19 runs.
And he takes on the Yankees, who knocked him around in his last start. And he deals a strike over the inside corner to Knobloch. Chuck Knobloch has picked it up of late. Took him a while to settle into those Yankee pinstripes, and he has his average up to 273. And even at 273, gives this Yankees lineup such a different look than a year ago or in their World Championship year of 1996.
Even though Mariano Duncan did a fine job a couple of years ago as the second baseman, Knobloch worked on both sides of the ball. Good defense, great leadoff hitter as you had a look at Derek Jeter.
The 1-1. Self-defense, the check swing foul ball for strike 2. Jeter in that number 2 spot has driven in 31 runs, an average of .329, 6th best in the American League. Saberhagen has Knobloch set up at 1 and 2.
Two-time Cy Young Award winner, Rhett Saberhagen. He doesn't throw in the mid-90s anymore.
Still 1 and 2.
But good enough to get out major league hitters. A 2-year rehab stint in 1996, 1997. Coming back last year, actually didn't pitch in 1995. Here he is back in the major leagues.
Leadoff hitter Knobloch at 1 and 2. Breaking ball that was waited on by Knobloch. Hit hard, but right at Valentin. 1 up, 1 down. And we take a look at the scouting report for Brett Saberhagen, who had to answer questions after struggling his last 3 starts.
Yeah, I was mistaken about the 1995. That was the year he was traded to the Colorado Rockies when the Rockies went to postseason play. Poor location, falling behind the hitters. That certainly wasn't the case with Knobloch. Fastball's got to be down. That's normal. And that good changeup. His changeup is probably his best pitch, but in order for it to be a good pitch, he has to establish the harder pitches like the fastball and curve.
Jeter takes a fastball up and in. It's nice to be able to say his fastball is down to the low 90s. That just tells you how good this guy was in the middle 80s when he starred in 1985 for the Kansas City Royals and really throughout his entire Kansas City career.
Cy Young Award winner in 1985, World Series MVP, and then he won the Cy Young Award again in '89.
1 out, nobody on. Jeter into right center. They had him played there, and Darren Lewis goes to get it. 2 out. Boston catcher is Scott Hatteberg, and he's been kind enough to wear the catcher cam for us today on a warm day at Yankee Stadium. And here's a look out at Saberhagen, who's looking for a perfect first inning. Checking out Paul O'Neill. Right now he's thinking Paul's number 10 in the league, hitting .321, and see where O'Neill sets up. Right in the back of the batter's box. 2 out, nobody on. That was ball 1.
When Scott looks down and sees the plate, he's thinking about what pitch to call.
Is it written on the plate or
part of your contemplation?
O'Neill out in front, pops it up to the right side. Easy for Lou Merlone. Something sounds right about that name in this city. After 1, both sides go in order, and we go to the second. No score. Second pitch of the second inning. Vaughn took a big swing, came up empty against Hideki Irabu, strike 1. It'll be Vaughn, O'Leary, and Hatteberg, the catcher, against Hideki Irabu. Phase 3, retired the ball, delivers high, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. The numbers for Mo this year in and year out, this guy throws up great numbers. And it's rather conspicuous that he's the one guy that hasn't been signed to a long-term contract, a guy who's up for free agency at the end of the year. They seem to be locking up everybody but Vaughn.
Yeah, it's inconceivable that the Red Sox wouldn't put him first on their list. I think the signing of Pedro Martinez, $75 million. He'll pitch tomorrow against the Yankees. But the signing of Martinez last year put a crimp in Mo Vaughn's negotiation.
Vaughn is gone. Strikeout number 2 for Hideki Irabu, and he went right through Big Mo.
Talk about turning it up a notch. How about 3 or 4 notches? All fastballs and none below the waist. Mo can handle that ball down because of that uppercut swing of his. Irabu going with the high heat. Wow.
And just to finish the point on Vaughn, easily the most popular player for the Red Sox since Yastrzemski. And you've got a guy who's been very active in the community. Some might say more active than he should have been. He's had some off-the-field trouble. But putting that aside, you've got a guy that on the field is your main power source by a long stretch, yet he's the guy that's left without a contract.
Plus, he's from the left side, and your other young power hitter, Nomar Garciaparra, from the right side with 30 home runs last year. And he's a leader on the ball club.
2 balls and a strike on O'Leary.
Right now, our understanding is to Mo Vaughn, the offer on the table is $10 million a year for 2 years. Is that correct?
Somewhere
Something
in that
like
neighborhood. But as O'Leary comes up empty 2-2, you look at the contracts that they not only signed Martinez, but they lock up Garciaparra 1 year.
Yep.
1 full year into the big leagues. They lock up Valentin, and yet Mo Vaughn is standing there without a long-term deal. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. O'Leary. Little broken back grounder foul. So it stays 2-2. This is not a real power-laden team in Boston either. Jimmy Williams writes out that lineup card. Not only does he desperately need Garciaparra in there, but Vaughn is the power source on this club. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Fastball stays down and in. And the count full now, 3-2. Hatteberg, the catcher, will be next. Top of the 2nd inning, no score. O'Leary stays alive. Well, there's Irabu hitting 93 on the radar gun. Got to figure a guy like Hideki with a 2-strike count on a hitter, even though it's 3-2, can smell blood and go after that 3rd strikeout. Wouldn't chase it. Back to the backstop. A 1-out walk, and we have our first base runner of the afternoon. Right now for a game break, let's return to Chip Carey in the Fox Television Center in Los Angeles.
Joe and Tim, thank you very much. A lot of new faces on the Chicago Cubs ball club. Sammy Sosa not in the lineup today. Matt Mieske, one of those new faces, hitting in the number 3 hole. And before anybody was out, Mieske just hit his first homer as a Cub to make it 3-0 over the Braves. Still in the first. Back to you all in New York.
All right, Chip, thank you very much. 1 on, 1 out here for Hatteberg, as Hideki Irabu gives up his first walk of the afternoon. Irabu is coming off that complete game shutout, but a career-high 5 walks his last time out at the White Sox. Hatteberg takes ball 1.
Irabu does not throw a sinker, but look how far off the mark he is with Posada sitting outside and the ball down and in to O'Leary. He has 3 wild pitches on the year. We talked about his fielding. The only other chink in the armor is his wildness. He can miss by a long ways. He's a very difficult pitcher to catch, as a matter of fact.
And it's Posada, the day game after a night game, with Girardi catching here last night. Came up with a big bases loaded 2 RBI single. And the Yankees win. The Yankees have won the first 2 games of this 4-game series. And it'll be Pedro Martinez on the mound tomorrow, facing the Yankees for the first time. And Mel Stottlemyre hoping that the best the Red Sox will be able to do tomorrow will be salvage 1 game of this series. The 1-1 to Hatteberg. Strike 2.
Red Sox have not won a game, as a matter of fact, since last Friday when they beat the Yankees 5-4. The Yankees won the last 2 games of the series. Pedro Martinez skipped that series. He pitched against the White Sox, and then losing his last start. Kicked around pretty well his last time out, his only bad outing of the year.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And we look at the season series, which so far is 5 games old. The Yankees have won 4 of the 5. Have outscored Boston tremendously. The team ERA over 7.5 for the Red Sox. 3-2 now on Hideki. Ran it to 3-2 on O'Leary, walked him, and we'll see if the Red Sox want to start the runner.
Oh, I would think so. With a guy with that low of earned run average, you want to try to do something unusual. You can't stand toe-to-toe with the Yankees the way they're swinging the bat and the way they're pitching. Got to send him here.
And O'Leary draws a throw. Yet with Irabu, a strikeout-type pitcher, you've got O'Leary at first, who hasn't stolen a base, hasn't attempted a steal all year. Not that he's stealing here, but you could very well get to strike him out, throw him out, double play.
You still got to send him, though, the way I look at it.
Staying put, ball 4, and it's 2 on, 1 out. So now 2 strikeouts, 2 walks for Irabu. And the Red Sox have something working here in the second with 2 on, 1 out, and Benjamin walking in.
Red Sox have lost 7 in a row. And, Joe, I think when things are going poorly, and it's the first time really this year that things have gone poorly for the Red Sox, then I think you have to do something unusual. The natural inclination is to sit back and play it one base at a time. I think when you're losing, that's when you have to open things up a little more, send runners, things of that nature.
Here's Mike Benjamin, who in the absence of Garciaparra hit .350, made only 1 error at short. But they obviously missed Garciaparra and the power threat that he presents at the plate. 2 on, 1 out, and now 2-0, and Irabu's getting wild here in the second. And out to the mound is Posada. So Vaughn struck out. He did it in a blink. And then O'Leary worked a walk out of Irabu. Hideki did the same, and now it's 2-0 on Benjamin. The good news is the Red Sox have runners in scoring position. The bad news is in this series they've been 1 for 9. Off the end of the bat, into center, easy for Williams. O'Leary will tag and advance to third. It's 1st and 3rd, 2 out.
A lot of baseball people would say, well, Irabu's getting wild. He's walked 2, and now it's 2-0 to Mike Benjamin. I think you do swing away in a situation like that because that's when you're going to get a choice pitch to hit. Benjamin hit it hard, but he hit it to the fat part of Yankee Stadium. And as any baseball fan knows, that's Death Valley out there.
408 to center, patrolled by Bernie Williams. Really have 2 very good defensive center fielders on display here today as Darren Bragg looks for the 2-out RBI hit. He could really give the Red Sox a lift with an early inning run against Irabu. O'Leary and Hideki are the runners. And nowhere close for ball 1 to Bragg. And 2 walks here in the second inning turn into a run-scoring rally for Boston. 2-0.
A lot of times you could tell how hard a pitcher throws when a catcher catches it off the center of his body. If it hits the glove and takes it back, that means it's a very good fastball, not only as far as the velocity is concerned, but how heavy it is. You'll see that often today with Posada's glove. It hits, takes it back, 6 inches.
Bragg pops it up. Shallow center for Bernie Williams. He'll give way to Curtis. Inning over. Irabu gets around 2 walks. They came back-to-back. We'll see Tino Martinez, Bernie Williams, and Strawberry. Bottom of the second, no score.
Mark, if you're at the airport before my 8 o'clock flight, maybe we can talk. Otherwise, good over.
Come on! Oh, God. Oh, no! That battery!
No matter what my customers drive, they depend on AC Delco batteries. They last up to 30% longer.
I'm sure they do. Just give me the generic equipment, okay?
AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Get ready to get creative. Get into a Rebel G. Go beyond snapshot. Experience the ultimate rush.
only EOS lenses from Canon.
If you can do this, you can make wood beautiful with Minwax. And if you can do this, you can give wood lasting protection. Turning a house into a beautiful home is as easy as turning to Minwax.
You both love nuggets.
And I'll always love that about you.
Super tender and juicy.
Thing is, you're sweet and sour, and I'm honey mustard.
So we're breaking up?
Sorry.
Don't look at me. I'm barbecue.
And speaking of Wendy's all-white meat crispy chicken nuggets, if you had 99 cents, what would you buy? A gallon of gas? A new air freshener? How about Wendy's chicken nuggets? Bite for bite, the best bet in chicken.
That's the one I'd pick.
Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, brought to you by MCI. Is this a great time or what? By AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it. And by Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
Warm day here in New York. Beautiful summer day, and it is officially summer, in case you weren't keeping track.
And the Yankees hoping they don't peak too early this year.
Sorry. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. It is opening day.
Absolutely.
Here's Tino.
Let's look at a hot zone for Tino Martinez. He was hit behind the right shoulder by Armando Benitez a couple of weeks ago. And he is normally a high ball hitter, and because that shoulder is giving him problems, you have to wonder if he can handle that high fastball like he normally handles it.
They even said last night that for the extension of his swing, it still bothers him, so he's not 100%. There's a foul, and here's a good look at the hit zone.
And that's a pretty good look at a ball that Martinez normally hammers. And here's a good look at his hit zone. You can see those red areas upstairs. That's highly unusual for a left-handed batter to be able to handle that pitch, but Tino can.
Leading off here in the second, big breaking ball. Martinez got under it. Short porch out there. But the first out as Bragg comes up with it. The batter will be Bernie Williams. Great lineup here for the Yankees. Here are Brett Saberhagen's thoughts on facing the Bronx Bombers.
I'm really glad that they didn't get Piazza to throw in that lineup that they have. They do have a strong lineup, and I tell you, their bench. You look at their bench, they have a lot of guys on their bench that could be starting for other teams. So there's not too many holes in their lineup that they throw out there on any given day.
Saberhagen has retired the first 4 Yankees he's faced here. And now works to Bernie Williams. Caught the inside corner. Everybody wondering, Tim, what's going to happen if and when Chili Davis is ready and healthy to come back into this lineup, and where will he fit? I think anybody expected Strawberry to get off to the start that he's off to, and the same for Chad Curtis. And Tim Raines has been very good in spot duty.
Joe Torre has manipulated those 3 guys particularly well. Chili Davis has only 6 at-bats on the year, out with a foot injury, and signed to be their regular designated hitter.
The way the offseason unfolded, they got Chili Davis, but they added to their team with a guy like Knobloch, a guy like Brocious, who nobody thought would be hitting the way he's hitting.
And the development of Irabu.
And you talk about that offense with Strawberry and the health of his knee. He even has a green light. If he wants to run, he can run. This is more of a National League style ball club than even 1996, when everybody was talking about that when Joe Torre came here to New York. So the question then, where does Chili Davis fit? Because he's not really that type of player any longer.
I think Knobloch gives you that much more of a National League style club. Look at Dale Swaim there.
Williams just got a base, still 1-2. Month of May, Williams has picked it up. Everybody earlier in the season talking about the pressure of playing in a contract year, rejecting offers from the Yankees, and many believing he will end up in Arizona. Up the middle to his right, Merlone can't get there, and the Yankees have their first hit of the afternoon.
Joe Torre saying that this might be the last year that all of the Yankees play together. And Bernie Williams, one of those guys, Joe. First base runner for the Yankees. He did not hit it well, but trickles it through and past Lou Merloni. One of these splatter bats looked like he broke his bat. Not hard, but found a hole.
1 on, 1 out. Strawberry comes up empty. Saberhagen hitting 90 on the radar gun with strike 1. Darrell has hit 8 home runs, leading this club, which nobody thought would happen at this point in the season. Almost 2 full months into the year. Saberhagen gave a look to Williams at first. By the way, has stolen 9. Strawberry worked hard in the offseason to get healthy, and it's paying off.
Bernie Williams, on the other hand, has always been a fast base runner, but not a good base stealer. He gets caught too many times.
There he goes. Good throw to handle for Hannibal, and Williams is gone. Bernie Williams gunned down for the 5th time this season. Hannibal had a perfect pitch to handle.
Ball up around the letters, and that's where he gives the ball to Mike Benjamin. But Bernie Williams has a very difficult time accelerating. Some base runners are like that. Bernie has very long legs and a tough time accelerating, and for that reason he's caught stealing much too often. But from first to third, first to home, there's nobody prettier to watch run than Bernie Williams. But he needs a head of steam before he does it. And yes, Bernie, you did break your back.
2 out now, nobody on, and a 2-1 count on Strawberry. There's a good breaking ball from Saberhagen as Strawberry was frozen, which is not a bad treat on a warm summer day. It's 2-2. Outside corner in the first strikeout for Saberhagen. Strawberry didn't like it. After 2, no score. We'll return to New York for inning number 3 after a word from your local station.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week.
Here, Lou Merloni leads off and takes a strike. Lou hitting .290 with a home run. He got in his first at-bat at Fenway Park. We're up in Massachusetts, Framingham, Mass. Nice way to start his home career. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Kind of living everybody in New England's lifelong dream. Hitting at Fenway Park. First at bat, no problem. 3-run home run.
Off the end of the bat, little floater into left center. Bernie puts it away. 1 up, 1 down for the Red Sox in the 3rd. Irabu, even though he struggled with back-to-back walks last inning, has at least retired the leadoff hitter in each of the first 3 innings, and now works to Lewis, who tried to bunt his way on his first time and tap back to Irabu.
And to remind you folks how important that is, if the first batter gets on, he scores about 51% of the time. If, however, there is 1 out and he gets on first, he scores 16% of the time. Dramatic difference.
A ball to Lewis, who is really hitting well. The guy who developed a reputation while in San Francisco of all glove, no bat. He's 0 for 2 here this afternoon, and 2 out, nobody on here in the 3rd for the Red Sox. Tomorrow, the NHL Western Conference Finals continue as Fox shifts the scene to Detroit. The Dallas Stars battle the Red Wings in Game 4 of the series. Follow the Fox tracks to see who will win hockey's ultimate prize tomorrow at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. Last night, Detroit with a big win over Dallas. 2 out, nobody on. Reggie Jefferson struck out his first time. Just a reminder, ball 1.
2 solo home runs off David Cone last night, and I think it was a reminder. I think Irabu does that. especially in the early innings, first time through the order.
Hard hit, but right at Jeter. On a hop. Red Sox go 1-2-3 in the third. We talked about this pitching matchup coming in. They haven't let us down so far. Saberhagen back to work, no score.
For 75 years, Warner Brothers has brought you the faces you'll never forget.
The numbers for Chad, 5 home runs already. 25 driven in. Always been very solid in the outfield. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big part of the Yankee postseason a year ago when the Yankees lost in that first round of the Cleveland Indians. Great series in the division series round. To the right side might be playable. Mo Vaughn, Lou Merlone, and a part. Fridays at 8 on Fox. Strike 2.
Allie McTarp.
Merlone had the best shot at it.
Yep.
You can almost forget Vaughn going back over his shoulder like that.
Oh, sometimes the second baseman is not as aggressive when you got a guy like Mo Vaughn going back, too.
Can you blame him?
No. No, not at all.
The ball and 2 strikes. Curtis, have a seat. Chad gets one up and in from Saberhagen, and maybe, not necessarily payback, Tim, but I'm sure that Saberhagen was watching when Irabu ran one inside on Jefferson.
Well, I really think that Brett would do this anyway. I think that's what you have to do to this Yankee lineup. You got to loosen these guys up. 300 team average after 48 games.
That'll get out of play.
But everybody here, and this is a full house today at Yankee Stadium, everybody quite understandably sensitive because of the Armando Benitez and Tino Martinez deal a couple of weeks ago when the Orioles were in town. Benitez getting an 8-game suspension. Graham Lloyd, Jeff Nelson, Darryl Strawberry, all with suspension after Tino was hit in that game. Clearly deliberate.
And while deliberate and while deplorable to some, really interesting and almost odd to see how some of his teammates and some of the management with the Orioles just let Benitez hang out in the breeze.
Especially Ray Miller, the manager. You can see Tino Martinez wiggling that right arm of his.
A leadoff walk to Curtis. And the first time the Yankees have put the leadoff man on.
But the next day, Ray Miller, the manager of the Orioles, offering a formal apology. While I think everybody thought it was nice, it was almost unprecedented as far as managers giving an apology for a pitcher hitting an opposing player. Teammates talking. And then Benitez, when he came back, he apologized to the team and to Ray Miller and to Peter Angelos and Baltimore fans and everybody. I think at the
Rudy
Yankees,
Giuliani, I think he sent him
I think so.
a fruit basket.
Fans of New York.
That's the opposite way and out of play for strike 1.
Next time the Yankees are facing Armando Benitez, there's no way he's even coming close to inside. Take a look at the catcher cam with another catcher hitting. There's Tino.
And he felt the effects for about a week, Tim, after getting drilled in the back.
He's not the same and hasn't been the same since being hit.
Oh, what's he looking at? Hatteberg looking into the dugout at Jimmy Williams.
Trying to check the sign.
And he just watches an errant throw on a pickoff attempt at first send Curtis down to second for an error.
Mo Vaughn had a shot at that ball, but the throw was high. Check it out. I think it's handleable. I think that should be an error on Mo Vaughn. Ball about cap high. Bounces off the edge of the glove. I think what first basemen are thinking about in situations like that is slapping the tag down. Sometimes you do it prematurely.
They gave it to Saberhagen, although I agree with you. And that pitch from Brett over the outside corner to Posada. Strike 2. Well, here's where Saberhagen, when he was a young man in his early 20s with Kansas City, would just shut you down. Runner at second, nobody out. Pickoff play at second. They nearly got Curtis. The try. And you could hear with our microphone in the bag out there, Al Clark right on top of it, calling Curtis safe immediately. Nothing in 2, and Posada pops it up. Looked like Curtis just got the foot in before the glove was actually laid on that ankle, but it was awfully close. Posada, at the very least, wanting to advance the runner. Saberhagen has given him nothing over the middle of the plate or in the inside part to pull. Back outside and 1 and 2. Let's go back to that play at second and listen to the sounds of the game on the safe call. About as definitive as you could want from Al Clark. The 1-2 to Posada. Broken bat, fly ball to center. Will fall for a hit. Here comes Curtis. No throw by Lewis, and it's 1-0 New York in the third.
Why in the world was there no throw by Darren Lewis? Darren was playing Posada shallow. He read it all the way, and unfortunately, I will say this, Chad Curtis read it all the way properly. In Posada's kitchen, breaks his bat, obviously, and watch the throw by Darren Lewis. He kind of one-hands it to the shortstop, Mike Benjamin. Benjamin actually had a play, but if Darren rights himself, I think he has a play on Chad Curtis. Very odd play by Darren Lewis.
Still nobody out. 1 on, and Brocious hitting .346. Bunts it foul. I agree with you. It was strange. You expect to see Lewis come up gunning to the plate, and almost like an infielder, he threw off balance and short-armed it into second base. Hard to explain, but yeah, the end result, 1-0 Yankees here in the third, and the last thing the Red Sox wanted, with one of their better pitchers on the mound, even though he struggled, is to fall behind to this Yankee team again.
Those leadoff walks find a way of coming around the score, don't they?
Then the error on the pickoff throw. Good pitch from Saberhagen, strike 2. There's a little piece of information on Scott Brocious. Never saw a Major League game until spring training in 1988 with Oakland. I guess that's what happens when you grow up in Hillsboro, Oregon. Not never gotten to a game.
That's right. Not near a spring training site.
Over the outside corner, and Saberhagen rings up his second. Brocious didn't like it. Good pitch from Saberhagen, 1 out.
Funny how you can make those good pitches. That pitch was in about the same location as the ball that Jorge Posada hit. Taken by Brocious, and a little Texas League broken bat single by Posada. Sometimes you make the pitch you want to, but the hitter in a very funky way beats you.
I think Scott just said to his teammates, you know, I didn't see a Major League game until 1988.
No, you know what he said? You know what he said? Don't I look like Rex Hudler?
He does look like Rex.
He does? That's what he was saying. Oh, that's hard. Rex listening to the game in Philadelphia.
Good. Hi, Rex. 1 on, 1 out. Into left field for O'Leary. Drifting with it, 2 gone. That'll bring in Derek Jeter, the man who likes to hit the other way.
Even though he is trying to pull the ball more this year, look at his hit the other way compared to those pulled. Of course, this is a smaller sample right now, but as the season progresses, it will be even more the other way. Matter of fact, he lined out to right center his first time up, but particularly with 2 strikes. That's his slot, right field.
Runner at first, 2 out, and a strike from Saberhagen. Left center field is absolutely wide open.
And the first pitch from Saberhagen was on the inside corner, which gives you an idea of what the Red Sox think Jeter can do even with the pitch inside. Push it the other way.
That's pulled into left field, but right at O'Leary on one hop. The base hit. It's 2 on, 2 out.
Red Saberhagen still makes his home in Babylon, New York, right near New York City. I guess you could say this is the hanging curve of Babylon right here. Jeter right on top of it.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Eighth wonder of the world, the hanging curve of Babylon. Good hitting by Jeter. A lot of times the hitter will jam himself on a ball like that.
Good note on Derek Jeter and what he's been able to do at the top of the order.
He has taken a major leap forward in ability.
Maloney, a great play with a backhand, gets the force out, saved a run. Big help from Lou Merlone for Brett Saberhagen. And after 3, the Yankees get 1, lead by 1.
Gary Sheffield, outstanding bat speed. Pull the ball with the best of them.
The secret to MLB 99's realism? Scouting report straight from the pros.
Favorite cheese Gouda. Bobby Bonilla. Weakness for fastballs in the dirt. Has a dog named Snacks.
That's impressive.
I knew that. You drive a 71 Nova, make $22,000 a year, and you were a bedwetter.
Hey, better.
PlayStation.
That tune-up.
These AC Delco parts are about the most dependable you can buy. They should really help improve your performance.
Come on, they're all the same. I'll take some out of this bushel basket.
Okay.
AC Delco. No matter what you drive, if you're not asking for it, we're asking for it.
My dad always said, as soon as I get a computer, you'll come out with something better. So, to make sure people like Dad always have the latest computer, we've invented YourWare, technology that grows with you. For just $49.95 a month, you get a computer with an Intel Pentium 2 processor, unlimited internet access, and you can trade it in toward a new one in 2 years. What do you call this thing? YourWare. Call 1-800-GATEWAY, and let's talk about YourWare.
2 tickets, $28. 2 hot dogs, 2 popcorns, and 2 sodas, $18. 1 autographed baseball, $45. Real conversation with 11-year-old son, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Accepted all over, even Major League ballparks.
Scandal rocks a quiet Texas town.
This neighborhood is turning into Melrose Place.
On King of the Hill, Sunday at 8:30, 7:30 Central on Fox.
Hideki Irabu, coming off that complete game shutout, has now gone 3 more shutout innings. We're into the 4th. Yankees lead by 1, and there's ball 1 to Valentin with Mo Vaughn and Troy O'Leary to follow. Valentin highly sought after last year. And yet another one of the guys who has been inked to a new contract. Hitting just .234. 2-0. As the Red Sox threaten to put their leadoff man on for the first time this afternoon. Twelve consecutive scoreless innings hurled by Hideki Irabu. Valentin should take 3-1. That's why you take with Mo Vaughn on deck.
Teammate of John Valentin's at Seton Hall in the New York area.
A leadoff walk, and that's the 3rd walk handed out by Irabu this afternoon. Right now for a game break, back to Chip in our Fox Television Center in L.A.
Thanks, Joe and Tim. Cubs are at it again at Wrigley Field. Mark Grace, more doubles than any player in baseball in the decade of the 90s. Rips this one into the gap and right off Kevin Millwood. Jeff Blauser just followed with an RBI single, and the route is on as the Cubs behind Steve Praxel lead Atlanta 6-1.
Thank you, Chip. Here it's 1-0 New York. We are in the 4th inning. Leadoff man is on, and Vaughn comes up empty. And what you see with some of the game's better pitchers against some of the game's better hitters, they will crank it up. And in this case, Irabu will get up on top and try to blow it by Vaughn as he did back in the 2nd.
Talked about it earlier, how he will go from the low 90s to the mid to upper 90s. Another high fastball to Mo Vaughn. Vaughn also a guy who can handle the ball down and in. That is really his long ball. Of course, that's the case with a lot of left-handers, but Irabu has been going up the ladder on Mo Vaughn.
1 on, nobody out, 0-2 on Vaughn. Blown away by Irabu his first time up. That's well hit into right center field. O'Neill back at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. A 2-run home run for Mo Vaughn. His 15th of the year. And the Red Sox take a 2-1 4th inning lead. A walk and a home run, a bad combination for Irabu.
Well, he went up the ladder, but not quite high enough. Right above the letters. And that's what happens when you go to that well too often, or to that ladder too often.
Now O'Leary takes ball 1. I'll stop being Mo Vaughn's agent after this next comment. That swing is a perfect swing on top of everything else we've said about Mo Vaughn for hitting at Fenway Park. O'Leary pops it foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. That uppercut swing the opposite way.
The opposite way. That's exactly right. And that's what Mo has. He has that power the other way. Like a lot of good left-handed hitters, with the exception of Teddy Ballgame. Ted Williams was a dead pull hitter, but Yastrzemski used to pepper that wall and fence above the wall regularly. And so can Mo Vaughn.
Strike 2 now on O'Leary. The Red Sox have a 2-1 lead here in the 4th. Two balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on or out. 2 runs home thanks to 1 swing from Mo Vaughn. And it's O'Leary, Hatteberg, and Benjamin for Irabu the rest of this 4th inning. The 2-2. Able to lay off. Full count now, and Irabu, as we've mentioned, coming off the complete game shutout, scored upon in his 13th inning. He had pitched 12 consecutive scoreless innings. A little wild here at the start. O'Leary is gone, and that's strikeout number 3 for Irabu. Joe Torre's wearing a microphone. Here's what he had to say after that swing by Mo Vaughn.
I don't think he got that one. I may be wrong. I'm wrong.
What? Oh, is that classic? I didn't think it was going out.
That's down the left field line off the bat of Hatteberg. Nearly home run distance, but it's foul. He's just so strong, he gets under a ball like that, and it just keeps going.
Yeah, I don't think Paul O'Neill thought it was going out. He goes to his right first, and now he says, uh-oh, big guy hit it. Awfully strong.
I think you're right about O'Neill. So often, if you're watching the dugout or if you're watching up here, you react of how the outfielder reacts.
Exactly.
And right from the crack of the bat, O'Neill went to his right, then went back and was out of room. Into left field for Curtis. Heidelberg is gone for the second out of the inning, and with the bases empty, 2 out, Benjamin will hit. We'll give you our Aflac trivia question. Joe DiMaggio holds the all-time record with a 56-game hitting streak. Who holds the Red Sox record for the longest hitting streak? Let you think about that for a moment. 2 out, nobody on as Benjamin fouls one out of play. There's the plaque out in Monument Park for Jolton Joe DiMaggio. Monument Park put together in 1932. Part of historic Yankee Stadium.
During those 2 years, the Yankees played their home games at Shea Stadium. Matter of fact, they played one at Shea Stadium this year when the concrete mass fell down.
4 strikeouts now for Irabu. But to start the inning, a walk to Valentin, and then Mo Vaughn, and then this swing, and now 2-1 Boston. The Red Sox, Tim, have to be awfully happy with the way he's throwing the ball. He's made some very good pitches.
Well, we talked about it earlier. He's given up 19 runs in his last 3 starts. I'm going to tell you some more staggering things about the Red Sox starters over the last week.
Over the inside corner, another good pitch from Saberhagen, 0-2.
Red Sox starters over the last 6 games are 0-6. They've worked 23 in the 3rd innings, giving up 34 earned runs in 6 games.
Just to try to top that, you look at innings per start by team, Atlanta leading the way. Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach for Boston, with 6.59 innings pitched on an average per start. Boston 5.5, which is the worst
in either league, right?
Number 30.
Wow.
0-2 on Tino Martinez, and he is strikeout victim number 3 for Brett Saberhagen.
That's what we were talking about. Tino Martinez, because of that sore right shoulder, having a tough time with that ball that he normally will drive. This ball in a good spot by Saberhagen, a little tail on it. Watch how it tails back over the plate. But he is not swinging right. 0 for 4 in last night's game, 0 for a couple today.
With the bases empty, 1 out, Bernie Williams, who singled but was out stealing, walks in and takes a strike. Saberhagen hitting the corners this inning, and in the first 2 innings, struggled in the 3rd, but was taken off the hook with a good defensive play by Lou Merlone to his right on a ball hit by O'Neill. Outside corner, you got a good look. Strike 2.
Had that ball gotten by Merlone, as a matter of fact, another run scored, and then the Yankee rally. You're having Saberhagen work from the stretch with your cleanup hitter up there.
One out, nobody on, and Williams squirts it into left field. That's going to fall for a hit. Bernie's 2 for 2, thinking about 2, but holding with a 1-out single. Our Aflac trivia question: Joe DiMaggio holds the all-time record with a 56-game hitting streak. Who holds the Red Sox record for the longest hitting streak?
I'm going to say Bobby Doerr. Strictly a guess.
And you're going to be wrong, sir.
I was wrong.
Because our Aflac trivia answer, Joe's brother Dom DiMaggio, with a 34-game hitting streak back in 1949.
Okay.
But it was a good try.
Thank you, Joe.
Commend you. 1 on, 1 out.
Thanks to
for
me.
Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry comes up empty. Darryl struck out his first time. I'll clear up something that we talked about last inning. Had the facts that popped up about Monument Park. The park itself was put together during the renovation of Yankee Stadium in the middle 70s. The first monument was put up in 1932 to Miller Huggins. Miller had passed away in 1929, and after Miller had racked up 6 AL pennants, 3 world championships as the manager here, he was first to get a monument here at Yankee Stadium. Check on Williams, who's already been thrown out once trying to steal. The resume for Darryl Strawberry, who starred across town with the Mets for years, and in '83 the National League Rookie of the Year. 2-1. Tim, you saw firsthand how Strawberry broke in. And while we talk about all the tape measure shots that Mark McGwire puts together game after game, Strawberry hit some that without a scoreboard or without a stadium that was enclosed might still be rolling. 2-2.
Memorable, most of them coming on the ball down and in, but some down and away. Strawberry with tremendous power the other way. I don't think anybody can top McGwire, though. Darryl did hit a lot of home runs. One in St. Louis, memorable in that 1-0 game back in 1985. First game of the doubleheader off Ken Daly, or first game of the 3-game series off Ken Daly.
Outside corner, Strawberry gone for the second time as Saberhagen drilled the outside part for strikeout number 4.
He made the pitches when he had to. That last one slicing over the outside corner. Outside corner, you can see where Saberhagen is saying everything's away. And then dead red. Threaded the needle. 5 fastballs. That's about the width of a ball. You could throw that thing in a bucket.
Saberhagen saying that his arm was quote-unquote cranky after those 3 struggling starts. He felt better after his last bullpen session. And it's almost like you have to make people believe. They won't believe you saying it. You've got to prove it. And it looks so far like Saberhagen has got something figured out, and the arm may be feeling a little better.
His shoulder's in a much better mood this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Yes.
1 on, 2 out. Chad Curtis, who walked, was moved to second on an error by Saberhagen on a pickoff attempt, and then scored on a hit by Posada. Tries to advance Williams from first with 2 out. Into center, that'll be handled by Lewis. Back to get it. Yankees get a 1-out hit by Williams. Strand their 3rd of the afternoon. We move to the 5th. Irabu back to work. 2-1 Boston.
So come to Wendy's for a 99-cent junior.
Man, that cheeseburger looks good. I love bacon. You fly, I'll buy.
5 pitches through 4 innings. That's a little high for Irabu. Bottom 2 in the order for Boston. Bragg, Merloni, and Lewis. They're getting what they need out of Saberhagen on the mound, and the Red Sox got what they expect from Mo Vaughn at the plate with a 2-run shot last inning. To lead it 2-1. 2-0 now on Bragg as Irabu has fallen into a bad pattern of falling behind a lot of hitters.
Talked about his pitches. He's now thrown 68 pitches. That's what happens when you strike out a lot of guys and walk a lot of guys. Striking out 4 this afternoon and walking 3. One of those walks, a leadoff walk before Vaughn's home run to John Ballantyne scored.
Well, now 3-0 on Bragg, hitting just .250. So Irabu will work from the stretch with nobody on and find the strike zone. So he abandoned the windup and works from the stretch on 3-0, and he gets strike 1. Probably Irabu just doing that on his own. He's evidently liked the way he's thrown from the stretch better than from the windup today, and it's now 3-2.
Sometimes pitchers from the windup become the bobbin head dial man. Say, hey, bobbin head dial man, going to the stretch now. That's what he's done and thrown 2 strikes.
3-2 to Bragg. Spoiled a good low fastball from Irabu.
By that I mean that head bobbing up and down. You don't keep it centered, focused on the target, and you're all over the place.
Something that you see a lot of relief pitchers do. So used to working, coming in with men on base, they really forget altogether how to work from the windup. 3-2 from Irabu. A leadoff walk anyway, and that's the fourth handed out by Irabu this afternoon, and it comes leading off in the fifth. Next week on the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, don't miss the excitement of interleague action as Mike Piazza and the Mets head to Boston to take on the Red Sox, plus other regional action. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern and Pacific. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area.
And you get your wish next Saturday, right?
My wish is getting a chance to do a game at Fenway Park.
Yep.
That wish will be granted by the Major League Baseball schedule makers, whoever and wherever they may be. 1 on, nobody out. How about the Mets? How about the addition of Mike Piazza and what that's meant to New York as a baseball city? Merlone showing bunt, taking ball 1.
And as an offense, the top 8 hitters in the National League over the last 7 days since Piazza has joined the Mets, 4 of them are New York Met hitters. 4 of the 8 top hitters in the National League. And while Piazza hasn't gotten many big hits, just his position in the lineup. Brian McRae having a terrific month of May, as is Carlos Baerga. Bernard Gilkey is hot. John Olerud has been the only consistent hitter all year, but they are scoring runs in bunches. 15 hits a game, their last 4 games. That has never been done in Met history. Never.
1 on, nobody out. The 1-0 pitch. Merlone back to swinging as they abandon the bunt, and Merlone flies to center. 1 out. Piazza part of the big stories already. 2 months into the 1998 season. And we start with the Yankees. David Wells throwing that perfect game here against Minnesota. The Cubs and rookie Kerry Wood striking out 20 hitters while being just 20 years old. Mark McGwire already 26 home runs, and then Piazza. And it's amazing the domino effect the Piazza trade has already had on baseball and on the rumor mill. I always talk about a battle for the back page here in New York. Well, the Mets certainly took it, winning the battle for the past couple of weeks by picking up Piazza. That was really on the heels of the Wells perfect game. Now everybody talking about the Mets. Therefore, a lot of people thinking, well, George Steinbrenner will want to get that back page back. The drag is running and gunned down by Posada for the second out of the inning. Good throw by Jorge Posada as he gets Darren Bragg caught for the first time this year.
You know what? I think the Mets have only had the back page for 1 week of this season. I think it's the Yankees who have been the #1 story in New York. Posada with a P to second base. I mean, a low racer to get Darren Bragg easily.
2 out, nobody on. Now a 1-0 count on Darren Lewis. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I know what you're leading to, though, the possibility of getting Randy Johnson. Yep.
Joe Torre saying today he likes what he has already.
I just can't see the Yankees landing a Randy Johnson right now. Makes no sense from a baseball standpoint or from a financial standpoint to me. Does to the Dodgers now. If the Dodgers get him, that makes sense.
That is foul down the left field line. Strike 2 now on Lewis.
Even though the Dodgers just picked up a ton of extra salary in Gary Sheffield and Bobby Bonilla in the trade where Piazza went to Florida. And Charles Johnson is going to be making a ton of money in several years.
Did David Wells just throw something at us? 2 out, nobody on. 2-2. I think that was one of David's better changeups, or maybe that knuckleball that David Cohn was begging him to throw as he headed back to the 9th inning. I think it was done in fun.
You know what I think it was? Beanie Baby. Because when he pitched the perfect game, it was Beanie Baby Day. And here's the last out recorded. Squeezed by Paul O'Neill.
May 17th, 1998, and the second perfect game thrown in Yankee history.
First during the regular season.
2-2. Lewis battling Irabu to stay alive. A couple of years ago, we had the no-hitter thrown here by Doc Gooden. This year, it's the perfect game by David Wells. 2 out, nobody on, 2-2 pitch. Lewis hanging in there. Reggie Jefferson, a home run threat. Waits on deck as Lewis tries to fight his way on. Darren is 0 for 2 with a couple of groundouts. First time up, tried to bunt.
All probability, he will hit the ball to the right side, particularly if it's something hard. The only ball he's going to pull is the breaking ball.
3-2.
Darren Lewis, one of the few major leaguers that has been relatively successful as a major league hitter without flexibility in the hand. He pushes the ball the other way, doesn't drive it the other way.
Lewis works a 2-out walk. That's 2 walks in the inning and 5 on the afternoon for Irabu, which ties a career high, which he set his last time out in that complete game shutout at the White Sox. So Posada and that arm of his throwing out Darren Bragg, trying to steal with 1 out. Looming large now as the Red Sox have a man at first, 2 out for Jefferson. Boy, he gets a full swing. Strike 1.
A lot of times an indication of a pitcher's velocity also is how many guys foul balls back the other way. And today an awful lot of balls that have been fouled back by left-handers to left field, right-handers to right field.
Into left field for Curtis. 2 walks in the inning, but Irabu gets around it as Curtis had trouble with his sunshine here at Yankee Stadium, but made the catch. Halfway through it, 2-1 Red Sox.